participate again, making time for this. And now again we're going to go the teaching of the gracious teacher, kindness teacher, compassionate teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni, and that particularly highlighted by Gyabji, the new Rinpoche, the region of the Padma Samye in the 20th century. So we're following his instructions, following that. Again, at Rajasekhi, we have these opportunities, even though our circumstances is really kind of strange and not exactly what we wanted, wished that, but it happened. And that situation, we are using this something good, beautiful purposes, good purposes, to activating, to really strengthening, deepening our Dharma understanding. And Dharma is so important because it touches our heart. It's our nature, nature of everyone. It is kindness, it's compassion, it's loving, love to all the beings. It is respect, appreciation. It's non-violence. Everything what in the world, whether you have believed or not believed, always admires, talks. That is really Dharma. That is the teaching of the great teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni. He came, Buddha taught exactly where things are. Truth as it is, simple as it is, natural as it is, where things are as it is. That's what the gracious teacher, the smart teacher, very simple and powerful teacher, taught this 2,600 maybe about years ago. Ever since, so many great beings, or so many beings are inspired, attracted by this teaching, because this teaching is not just a kind of isolated and selected group teaching. It's talking to everyone. Everyone. Doesn't matter whether you are human or not human. It's teaching. This is teaching that every admire. That all the sentient beings of 6 realms admires, appreciate this teaching because it is love, it's a compassion, it's a kindness, it's a respect and appreciation. I'm not just talking this because I believe in the Buddhism, but you look, you read, you follow the teaching and instructions. This is really true. That is what it is. So therefore, whether we have the name of the Buddhism or not name, those are our principles. These are our nature. That is what we are really regrouping, retouching, reorganizing. So this is very, in a way, even though situation is strange and not good that happened. Didn't really wish by anyone's, but that happened. And we are using this situation, something beautiful, reason and purpose. Not just only for us, we are talking about the Bodhicitta, the thinking of all living beings. We're really talking that. It's sincerely we're talking, not just also kind of pretending as lip services, where really truly means more that. So therefore, it is something that we really can be cherished, enjoyed, can be enjoyed in all our remainder of lives, these lives. And according to Buddha's teaching and the teaching of Guru Padma Samye, it will reflect continually throughout all the way to enlightenment. So therefore, again, we're going to understand the joy and the appreciations and the vastness motivation of the Bodhicitta and the purity realization of the Vajrayana teachings, or practice of what taught. With that, again, we are following our old practice as the great masters of practicing lineage put into 3 frames. The beginning good or noble, middle noble, third noble. So we are following that frame, and now we are in the middle nobles. Middle noble is the noble of that beyond, free from the grasping and the clingings. And that means what? Trying to understand the way things are. Way things, what that also means. According to teaching, according to those realizations, realize the beings, All things are a relative level in the Mahayana teaching, or in general Buddhism, is like mirage, is like bubbles, is like reflection, moon in the water. This is all like dreams. This is not just an object as a dream, or reflection in the moon in the water, and mirage, our self is like that. Subject and object, all that status. That is really true. So at least bring those understanding. It's really good, it's kind of close to the nature. Present time, what we have? We always have solitude thinking. Solitude. Solid is solid, concrete, unbreakable in a way. Thinking, even though it's breakable, that attitude, that clinging we have. Everything is kind of like solid. That is not true according to teaching when you have the realizations. And that which is exploring by the physics, quantum physics, those great philosophers or those great thinkers or great adventurers are exploring. That's what a really gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, said 2,600 years ago. It's true. And then, according to Vajrayana teaching, that lucid nature is not just a lucid kind of dream-like and mirage-like, that is a display of the enlightenment. Enlightenment, our own wisdom display. Wisdom display. So it's wisdom poems, wisdom songs, wisdom minds. All is in wisdom status or enlightened status. For those reasons, what in the Vajrayana teaching often said, 3 Vajra status. Vajra form, Vajra sound, Vajra mind and spaces. Why? What means Vajra? Vajra is a Sanskrit word, means indestructible. That means it's not something solid or indestructible, but nature cannot be changed. Nature is not cannot be changed by the duality conceptions. The deluded mind cannot change. No matter how much we are deluded, how much we go through in delusions, the nature never going to change. Therefore, it is a Vajra, indestructible, impregnable. The nature cannot change. It remains the same as it is. It was, it is, it will be. It's all in enlightened status. All in a mandala status, Vajrayana teaching said. And for those reasons, what in the teaching said, every forms are enlightened as 5 male Buddhas. Every element is our 5 female Buddhas. All enlightened. And that is not solid, concrete, is the display. It is magical show. And it's like emanations. It's the emanations. It's transforming, changing, reflecting, back and forth, reshaping. It's all playful natures. That is true. This is not just only happening in outer world. It's our mind. Our all systems are happening. Same way. So have those realizations is known as no graspings, no clinging mundane conceptions. Bring those realizations as you follow the teachings. Whatever the teaching you are, practice you are, kind of trying to bring that. What also in the teaching in the Nyingma schools of Buddhism, on a Gohengarma Tantra, in a relative truth, everything is purity status. And absolute truth is all equanimity status. Equanimity status is all in a great emptiness status. That means the Vajra form is a great emptiness. Vajra sound is a great emptiness. Vajra mind and space in a great emptiness. All in a union. All are in spirit, indivisible or inseparable. That nature is that. So bring those realizations. have that according to sadhana, according to practice with that thought. And our, for example, we're talking about the bodhicitta. It's also like magic. Where is it coming from, the bodhicitta? Where is that powerful bodhicitta? Where is transcendenting that powerful bodhicitta? Have you started thinking that all is magic? Sure. That is emanation. It's miracles. Miracles of the power of our mind. There is no endings. This emanation goes on and on. It's unfolding, display, multitude of status, complexity in a way, so many varieties. But each all are sparking. It's all shimmering, all distinctive. Even though they take it, it's all different forms. In the Buddha teaching, what is it? All is within the state of loving kindness, the compassion, wisdom, in the emptiness state, inseparable. All in within that status. That is what the really means the principle noble, without grasping, without clingings. Not mundane clinging, holding with emotions solid, and this and that, kind of tangible thing. If we start doing that, in the teaching often said, we are not kind of correctly, purposely doing the practices. So therefore, with those understanding, now we follow again with our principle noble or the middle nobles. Middle noble is as in what we in bodhicitta is actualizing bodhicitta. Actualizing bodhicitta is summarized into 6 paramatas or 6 transcendental practices. And those are, as you all know, and generosities and moralities and so on, one after another, all that 6 of those. Each of those, also this entire these 6 paramata practices, like is if condensed that I said the other day, and you all know, of course, is in the 3 extraordinary trainings, and those are the morality training, concentrations, and the wisdoms. I said that encompasses entire Buddha teaching, the essence meanings. And this morality, for example, morality practices of the 3 extraordinary teaching is mainly dealing with the physical activities. That is morality activities, to display, being gentle, more peaceful, more good manner, more good ethics, more good conduct. That conduct, ethics or activity that not going to disturb the others, not disturbing our practice of meditation. So that is morality. Mainly is connected with the physical activities. Then concentration is mainly connected with the mind. Mind is deeper. So as I said, physical, not just physical, sorry, I should say also verbal. This morality is verbally is connected more principle teaching on how to behave of our body activity, our verbal or speech activities. Bring more gentle, more peaceful, more kind of soothing, more calming to one's own self as well as other beings. That is morality teaching. The next one is concentrations. Concentration is teachings on primarily on the mind. Mind is more sophisticated, deeper. And the mind is the principle. Therefore, this concentration, teaching, it will bring the mind disciplined, gentle, and explore beauty of the mind. And then wisdom is to all of those. We need wisdom for the morality. We need wisdom for the concentration, and wisdom is a finally ultimate goal. The even concentration will help to bring the perfect wisdom, knowledge, or the understanding. So that if we expanded that 3 extraordinary training practices, then is a 6 paramata, as I said. And among the 6 Paramita, I mentioned yesterday about generosity practices. And each of those Paramitas, according, it has 4 different powers. 4 different powers, each of those. As I said yesterday, I'm sure you heard and you know that. I mean, I'm sure many of you already know those things. But again, I'm talking the 4 different powers. It will purify the opposite or anti-opposite of those 6 Paramitas. For example, opposite of generosity is misery, strange, misery. So when you do generosity, it will purify or it will clear away the stinginess accordingly. So it's purified. And when we do this, when it purifies the strangeness and misery, what it brings result, temporary result in the according teaching, generosity it will bring more us, rich. It will bring rich, it will bring abundance. Even we're doing generosity, it looks like we're giving away, but reality it really brings back. Returns back. For example, in the springtime, farmers put seed, throwing the grain on the grass or on the field. They throwing the grains in the field. At that time, looks like that farmers throwing the grains in the soil. But in the autumn, it will bring more than what you had in the springtime. That is the logic. And generosity will bring more abundances. So it will purify the strange, and then strange, if we do misery, clinging or misery, strange, the result of the next life, in the teaching said, it will bomb. Of course, with the other emotion of negative karma, it will take us to the hungry ghost realms. It will make the birth in the lower realms. So therefore, each of those paramita will dispel the opposite of those. So first is generosity, dispel the stingy or the miserous. Morality, if we keep the morality, it will dispel the unethicals, immoral activity, it will dispel. And when we have the passion, it will dispel the anger, timidness, it will dispel. When we have joyful effort, it will dispel immediately laziness, sloppiness, it will dispel. And when you have the concentration, it will dispel the distracted, scattered mind, distracted mind, lost mind, it will scare away. And if we have the wisdom, it will dispel darkness, the ignorance. So therefore, each of those has power immediately to clear away the different obstacles, hindrance to our practices or our bodhicitta activities. At the same time, and as I say, the generosity when you do, it will bring result of the abundances. And the morality in the teaching said, the result will be more happier, more peaceful. Morality will bring more peace and happiness. And the patient will bring more courage, more confidence. And also will bring more beautiful complexions, beautiful looking images. And joyful effort will bring more dignities, more fulfillment. And concentration will bring more calm and peaceful states. And then wisdom will bring more wisdom, more knowledge, understanding. So each of those has all those the different powers. Then So I said, each of those has four. So I thought I should say maybe at the beginning, maybe then it's a little easier there. And I said yesterday, that's true, but it kind of went together with many others. So therefore, I'm trying to kind of highlight a little bit this. So the first one is each of those, what the great master Maitreya or Asanga said in the teaching, that it will defeat the opposite or the obstacles of each of those paramatas. First one is. The second, each of those paramatas will bring the wisdom, realization of the wisdom. It will really bring the great wisdoms. Each of those will bring wisdom. So wisdom of course, we gradually wisdom bring realization of the wisdom, the absolute truth, exactly as it is. Exactly it is, but according, of course, the strength of that. Finally, as I said yesterday, the wisdom that will bring the three spheres, subject and object and activity. That emptiness realization will bring each of those in the teaching set. And then the fourth one, third one, of each of those, it will fulfill the wishes of the individualists. And yours, which it will fulfill your own, one's own, fulfill the wishes and the wishes for others. It will fulfill. Such as generosity, when you give the generosity, it will fulfill, make happy others. And you feel more happy too. When you give the morality, it will make happy you, it will make happy others. And passion, the joyful effort, everything, when you do, it really fulfills the wishes of the one's own self as well as others. Then more than that, it will help to bring those connected ones, if they continually have you help, it will bring to their connected destination of the teachings. According to Buddhism, it will bring to the Charvaka yanas, Patti Buddha yanas, and Bodhisattva yanas. So it will bring the maturity state of the Arhatahood, Patti Buddhahood, and enlightenment state. So Buddhahood state, it really will lead. So therefore, each of those has those four different powers or qualities. That is what these paramatas are. Now, amongst the paramatas, I said yesterday about the generosities. Today, I'm going to talk morality paramatas. And I'm going slowly by this time. The reason why? Because we are all in a home. I believe so. We're not going to catch the planes. We're not kind of limited by the one week or 3 days. And otherwise, we're all busy in the modern time. Teacher is busy and the students are busy. They don't have time. And the great Master Dorje said in his teaching, in the future, my followers, don't do the horse race teachings. Horse race teachings. Or maybe now this time, sport race teachings. Teacher don't have time to teach and make shorter, and the student don't have time to listen, make short everything. Like that, horse racing. And this time, since we don't have to do horse racing, therefore, I'm really doing slowly by slowly. And practicing of the healing practices, and dedicating all our merit to really to the benefit for all living beings. Also clear away these situations, circumstances will purify the sickness and disease. According to the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni said, if you have the good thought of with bodhicitta, then all the practice, whether you're studying, listening, meditating practice, it will all go to the benefit for the sentient beings. So we are all doing that. But that way, I'm going slowly by slowly. That's the way I'm going to talk now. Again, slowly of the moralities. And morality, I said already yesterday, and you all know that. Sanskrit is Shila, and Shila translated in Tibet, Sultam in Tibet. And that means what ancient those great translators or emanated translators translated, this Shila in the Sutram, Sora means exactly systems. Tam means as a rule of the system, exactly systems or exactly perfect manner. System of the rule of perfect manner. That is maybe roughly translation of the Shila. Then in English is translated as morality, I believe. Everyone translated, but it is teachings on the conduct and teachings on the behaviors and teachings of this bodhisattva. This time bodhisattva morality is not just only conduct of the body and speeches, but it's a conduct of also mind. So it is a conduct of the body, speech and minds. So therefore it is more stronger than the general Buddha's teaching in the Vinaya teaching. Vinaya teaching often kind of like morality is more indicated toward the activity of the body and the verbal speeches. But bodhisattvas or Mahayana now is because bodhicitta is mind. Mind, and therefore this morality is supported to good and to progress, to increase in bodhicitta. For that reason is also mind. Mind. So therefore this is the morality there. Now morality, those meanings, word meanings also I said, and now I'm going to, this is according to the teaching, morality is divided into 3 moralities. And many of you already know that. And that is, I would say that first morality is that avoiding all the negative activities. So that is the first morality. Second morality, it is one morality, but it is 3 different. So first is morality that will avoiding all the negative activities. And the second morality is gathering all the virtues. Morality that gathering all the virtues. And third is morality that will benefiting or the supporting for all the living beings. So those are the 3 moralities. And this first is, again, this morality that was avoiding all the negativities. And that in the teaching said, in the teaching, what in the Tibetan word, Pungsin. And if you translated that in English, I think I saw that disbanding thought. You understand? D-I-A-N-I-N-G, I believe. Disdaining. Or another word, a simple one, abandoning thought. Continue to have the abandoning thought. What are we going to abandon? Going to abandon all the negative negativities. Not just activity, negativities, and then it is action. That abandon, that have kind of that attitude, thought strongly in the heart and mind. That is actually the morality of the abandoning or avoiding all the negativities. That attitude. When you have the mind strongly. That now that negativity, abandon all the negativities. Then there is negativities in the common sense level negativities. That is worldly customs in the world existing, but such as 10 known virtues. 10 known virtues I listed last time, and you all know them. I'm not going to list all that. 3 by the mind. No, sorry. It started with 4. 3 by the body, 4 by the mind, 3 by the mind. All together, 10 known virtues. Again, 3 by the body, and 4 by the verbal speech, 3 by the mind. And those are known as 10 virtues. These 10 known virtues is, according to Buddhism, it's common known virtues. It don't have to be you have religions or not religions. It's something negative, something not wholesome. It's commonly accepted negativities, any standards of the countries or the traditions, regardless what you believe, according to the teaching. So that is the negativities. Then above that, in a Buddhism, then such as the negativities such as avoiding or the breaking rules or the vows of the upasaka vows. For example, if you're the upasaka, if you take the upasaka vows and breaking rules of the upasaka or the lay practitioners, and the rules of the novice monks and the nuns, if you take the vows. If you take the vows of the nuns and the monks, the fully ordained monks and nuns, if we breaking the rules. And then if breaking the rules such as Bodhisattvas vows, if you take the vows. And the Vajrayana vows, those are known as samayas. Those all are samayas. And that are also known as general samayas, particular samayas, and as well as those 8 principles, or the 14 downfalls. As we went last time a little bit briefly, but we joined those prayers, such as when we do the 10th day puja and the 25th day puja, we do the named as in English or whatever, stainless king, but all is the purification practices. It is. Generally, when it happened, for example, these negativities, when that happened, it's always important to purify. It's good, really purify is so important. Important. If we don't purify it, it kind of piles up, it accumulates up. But if we purify, then we purify it. I mean, it's just you purify it. So therefore, purify is so important. And how you purify? Generally, in the Sutra teaching, say what in the Buddha teaching, on Vinaya teaching, there is known as a Dudjom, restoring the vows and the purification. Every month there is 2 times. In the full moon and the new moon, they do 2 times, gather all the monks and the practitioners, gather the monks and doing those ceremonies, known as Dudjom practices. And the Dudjom in the Tibetan word means what? Restore and the purifications. And so that is the purifications. And in the Bodhisattva teaching, Mahayana teaching, also when you do the purification, such as do the 35 Buddha's purification practices. And those are known also like Sutra of 3 hips. Hip, H-E-A-P-S, hips. What that means? The hip of the postation, hip of the purification, hip of the dedications. Those are 3 hip practices with based on 35 Buddhas. Again, we have those prayers. We do those prayers. So do those prayers. And then also in the teaching said, in the morning, in the evenings, in the midday, if you can do, even in night time, if you do those mistakes, you should do the purifications. 3 times in a day if you can. 3 times a day, 3 times in a night, purify. Purify any of the mistakes that happened. That mistakes, anything happen, whether it's big and small, purify. And also same time purifying then such as purification practices such as circumambulating the monasteries and the stupas. doing the postrations, making the offerings of such as flowers, incense, and lights, the offerings, and making the community services, all the service to the temples, those all known as purification practices, also at the same time accumulating the merits. And in the Vajrayana teaching is more powerful practices. Those are known as the practice of the Vajra practices. That purification practices. Those are known as in the Vajrayana teaching, as many of you all receive the Mundo practices, and as well as you also can buy world's my perfect teachers or other grade those books and teachings. Those are known as the purification practices with the 4 powers. 4 powers. With the 4 powers. Power of the object, power of the convictions, power of the restoring, power of the applying the antidotes. Those 4 powers, you can look to the words of my perfect teachers. Teachers, and I mean, many of you already know that, with that thought and practicing of the Vajrasattva's is so powerful, so special, and is really purifies them. So therefore, purification is so important. Then, again, I will talk about that. And when this negativity is happening to us, how that happened? In the teaching says there is a 4 source that will happen the negativities. And what first is not knowing what is negative, what is not negative. First is unknowing. And the second is disrespectful. And third is carelessness. And the fourth is too much emotions. Those 4 are known as source of the source of the negativities. 4 of them, source of the negativities. Or cause of negativities. Maybe that's way, sorry. 4 cause of the negativities. Again, first is not knowing. And the second is disrespectful. Third is carelessness. And fourth is and too much emotions, or power of the emotions. Those are the 4. First is, if you don't know, that means we can do many mistakes. So therefore, that is what you should learn. Read the books, receive the teachings, reflect on that. Since we are practitioners, we should know those are what is good, what is really negatives. And negativity is generally what? Again, if we talk, the general Buddha teaching is a cause of suffering truth. It's cause of karma, bad karma. Cause of suffering truth, cause of bad karma. It is cause of, fundamentally, he said, deep down, is cause of samsara. So therefore, we should really know. Learn the teaching. Read the books. There's so many beautiful books. Something highlight the principle vows or the guidelines, negativities. Those are so important. So this is the first is, so then when you read, when you started, when you also a little bit contemplate on those meanings, a little bit in the mind, in the brain, it will register in our memory banks. Then you know. We know. So then we won't have troubles of the not knowing. So now you know. Many times that happens, even you know, even those individuals know well, but they become little disrespectful. Due to their emotions, due to their maybe arrogance, due to their stubbornness, whatever reason, They didn't respect it. And therefore, again, should be more respectful, more thoughtful. Doesn't matter it is big negativity, small negativity, it is negatives. Of course, a big negative has a big consequence, that obviously, but even the small negativity looks like it's small, it has big impacts. And look at this, in a world, small sparking of the fire can make the big, huge fire, destroy the whole valley in the mountains. It's happening so many times, these times, in so many different countries. Really, it started from small. It can devastate. So therefore, small things, even if it's small things, be thoughtful, and we should respect and appreciate and don't be. And think of that. Look to read the life story with Buddhas. Buddha is all-knowing enlightened beings, but yet he's so simple, so humble. Even as Buddha is already enlightened, free from all obstacles. Yet, when we read a life story or the teaching of Kanjur, occasionally when you have time, read. And how Buddha is really so thoughtful, so careful, so respectful, so following the common rules. All those like 253 rules of the monks, or over 300, whatever, 63 or 62 rules of nuns, all is based upon how to be mindfulness, how to respectful, how should be more politeness and calm and peaceful to maintain our quality and dignity practice at the same time not disturbing others. And that means respecting and appreciating everyone's. And move slowly, go gently, peaceful, talk gently, softly, gently, look to the eye of love and compassion with others, like smiling face. All those Buddha teachings said. How respectful, how humble, how simple, how down to the earth. Not kind of saying bragging, oh, I'm completely enlightened being, so it's okay, don't care. No, he carry his own arms poles, carry his own shawls, or those like robes, whatever those, and walking with the bare feet on the dirt roads. That is the gracious kindness, teacher of the gods and humans and all beings. The object of veneration of every living being. These great beings. That is really how respectful. So therefore, be respectful. It's so important. And the third one is carelessness. This is again big trouble to us. What we need? We need mindfulness. We need alertness. We need conscientiousness. We really need more mindful, more thoughtful, more careful, reflecting the activities, since we are practitioners particularly. Therefore, can we read our activities, look to our mind, and how we're performing, how we're doing. What in the teaching said, you should become teacher to yourself. You should be protector to yourself. You should become assistant, help to yourself. Once you receive the teaching, once you know the teaching quite well, how we sustain that, keep that freshness of the teachings. Not let get that teaching kind of almost go expiring. Not let go. How we do? With mindfulness, with the alertness, with the appreciations. Read our mind, activity of check our activity of the body, activity of the speech, activity of the mind. How is it performing that in a group, in a community, alone? And respect to ourselves, respect to the others. Self-respect is so important. self-respect and self-respect others. Those ancient great masters in the Karma Sukha, master said, tell yourself a witness, or there's two witnesses, how I'm doing. The witness of others, witness of your own self. When others witness to you, they can judge your just conduct. That how you're doing. They won't understand your mind. But among two witnesses, one's own self is the best witnesses. You should check yourself. No matter whatever they say, others, they can say many things. All nice and beautiful, this and that things. But read ourselves. Check that. And make it more meaningful. Meaningful those. Those are known as mindfulness. When you do that, it's known as respect. You're respecting to yourself. Respect to others. And calm and peaceful. That is practicing Dharma. It's not that we are going sidetracked and distracted. And so, therefore, this is called what's called the carelessness. It will restore the carelessness. We become more thoughtful, more mindful, more alertness, and then we will be really good tracks. And then the fourth one is not too much emotions. Now, for example, you know all those guidelines and rules, what is negative, what is not negative, all that you know. So you know that. But also now you are very respectful. You know, you're respectful of the teaching and the guidelines and all that. And also you're very careful and most of the time, but once in a while, power of the emotions. Too much emotion, then we slept away. Or we fall in a ditch. Therefore, always again, too much emotion, therefore, always guard, support with our own mindfulness. That's the teaching always mentioned. Guard yourself. Support yourself. Emotions are trouble. It really disturbs ourselves, others, and then again, emotion is fundamentally cause of suffering truth. It creates sufferings. It creates the karmas. So therefore, trying to not when under the power of the emotions. Even that once not happened, again, bounce back immediately and carry that and have some praise, some courage and commitment. I am not going to do that again. And not that happened by the blessings of Buddhas. May I never do that again. Kind of those praise, those thinkings in the mind, reset that, and known as then, it will also come, so it will not become too much power in the power of under the emotions. And we have all those ways. Then we are keeping among that morality, we are keeping the perfect moralities of this, avoiding all the negativities. That is generally briefly I'm talking, and also this one of the Dudjom which is said here, you see what it called. In the teaching it said this is so then if we keep it this way in here, love and affection for Samaya brothers and sisters. Then if we do this, then we are keeping also really perfect Samayas. Perfect Samayas, we keep that. Generally, this is love and affection to Samaya brothers and sisters, and which is, of course, is all generally love and affection for all the sentient beings, and particularly love and affection for all the one Samayas. We all in the same Samayas. Those are the teachings. So, but this again, we keep this. What I said, this avoiding all the negativities. Then we're keeping these Samayas also quite very well and beautiful. And I talk this a little bit more to you about this and how this. So that's my little brief talk for today. And a little bit time over. Sorry that, but okay. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we do short meditation.